Hey y'all, so took me a while to get up the courage and figure out what to say properly, but we're gonna talk about addiction today. So at one point in your life, no matter how, it could be relative, lover, friend, coworker, even just a random acquaintance. We've all bumped into somebody with an addiction once in our life, and I know a lot of people here have lost loved ones to it. I mean, it's pretty tragic. Now, I'm not gonna say, you know, an addiction is a mental illness or a disease, or, oh, it's not this, or it's not that. I'm just gonna give you helpful tips and whatnot to help you help someone you love who has it. So, a lot of people don't like being told to get help because they feel like, you know, you think they're weak, or you think you know what's best for them. Be like, Susan, I think you should go to rehab. I think you need help. No, what you do is, and I find this works the best, you go up and say, hey, Susan, is there anything I can do to help you? And you give them a choice. The reason why they're doing this is because there's something in their life that's triggering it. So it could be a sense of control. It could be they have a loss of control and they want that control. A number of different factors. Usually the case being it's about control, which is where a lot of mental illnesses come from. So if you offer Susan help and she says, yes, I need some help, then you sit down, have a private conversation with Susan and say, okay, what works for you? Now, sometimes, and it takes them a while, but once they surrender and they follow the steps, they're ready. The other thing people do wrong is they judge. I had a friend that I used to hang out with all the time when I was in high school. Great kid, a little flamboyant, but he wanted attention. And he, after I left high school, he started getting into anything he could get his hands on. And I messaged him one day and I asked him, I was like, dude, what's going on? Like, everybody's worried about you. Last thing we heard, you were in jail. Like what's going on? And he pretty much said, which it still breaks my heart a little bit, you're too immature. I can't be friends with you anymore. So I later found out from one of my best friend and his really good friend that he was in jail for theft or whatever. And I was so spurned. I was like, I'm the mature one, but he was in jail. Like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I ran into him a couple of years ago now, a year ago. I was a year and a few months ago, actually, because I just found out I was pregnant with my daughter. And I was listening to music, and I didn't realize it until it was like hey, I know who that person is. Like, it's my buddy from high school. He's walking up behind him, trying to get to work. And we both stop at the crosswalk. And he's like, just spins around and starts yelling and screaming, "You're not my God." I'm like, oh my God, this poor kid. Like, I couldn't do anything. So anyway, the point of this story is pretty much a lot of people thinking they were helping him because, again, we were all young. We were in high school or whatever. We were telling him when to seek help or what to do. And his addiction had caused him to rob and break into people's vehicles and what have you. Like, it sucks. So now, being the person I am, I think about the past, I think of what was done, and I start thinking, okay, what are ways we can, fix it up and change it? And I've come to the conclusion, and it sounds bad, but daytime TV actually helped me with this theory. A lot of people that you'll see on these daytime TV shows where they've got like this addiction and stuff, and it doesn't even just have to be drugs, it can be alcohol too. If you tell them what to do, that's where the fights come in, that's where you get, the abuse and the threats, and that's when they could potentially do something stupid. Now, the way I go about it is I ask them, and what I do too, is if it is, a spouse or a loved one of any kind that you are in close proximity to, take care of them. If they have their little time where they're sobering up or detoxing, they're gonna be in rough shape. Take care of them. They will remember that. Don't judge them. Just take care of them. Make sure they have lots of liquids like water, juice. Make sure they have easy munchies and stuff like that. Like, I find the best response to something like this is just showing you care, not telling them what to do, but care for them like you would a sick relative or a sick child. You want to give them whatever they want, make their life easier, make sure they get lots of sleep. It really does help. Now, once you get to this point, so you've offered them help, they've accepted it, and you sat here and you took care of poor Susan when she was sick, and while you're while you're taking care of her, she's asked you to do X, Y, and Z with her. So don't do it right away. Give her a couple of days to a week if she's still sober. And approach her. Say, "Susan, would you still like to do this with me? Would you still like to do X, Y, Z?" If she says, "Let's do X first," then say, "Okay, let's go do that." Let's say it's an appointment of some sort. Say, "Okay, Susan, you make the appointment, I'll make sure you get there." So if Susan goes to that appointment, say, "Sweet, done." Encourage her. Be like, "Oh my God, Susan, good job, you made it to this appointment, I'm so proud of you. Like, let's go have a drink," or something like that. And, make her feel good about herself. At this point, you're dealing with somebody in a very vulnerable position. They won't know what to do. They feel like they're broken, beat down. And all you can do is try to build up their courage. Don't tear them down. Guide them. You, as a sober person in this, totally 100% sober, and you are very well connected, and I'm sure this will save a lot of lives too. You, as a sober person, connect with the person just so you can help them. I mean, I'm doing it and it's working great. I mean, it's hard on you, but if you're willing to take it on and you reap, you get a great feeling. Like, honest to God, you get this feeling. You're helping somebody build their life back up, build their confidence back up, and everything. I mean, they will love you that much more. I mean, they might be weary of you at first because here you are knowing so much about them that they don't want anybody to know. So you've seen them at their worst, and it just tears them apart inside. But if you stay with them and you, like, there's gonna be a part, so it's like Susan went through all her steps and now she's going to the last step to finally, you know, being in her new life and being totally sober. And before I say anything, I'm sorry if there's actually Susan out there dealing with this. It was just a name out of the blue. She's in her final step. Okay. So now, what you and Susan do is you sit down, have a talk, and you tell her, look, I still love you. You're still an amazing person. And you know what? I don't think I'm any better than you. I don't think you're any worse off. I think the decisions you made are great. It's all about connection. If you keep this person in your life, at first they're gonna be like, oh my God, like, what do I do? Like, this person knows too much about me to, like, you know, I love this person, like, they helped me when I wasn't in a good place. It's like anybody. I mean, this isn't exactly a great comparison, but it's like if your best friend or something is homeless on the street and you're like, hey, like, come stay at my house with me, it'll be fine, just, you know, get back on your feet. It's kind of like that, but not really. But I'm hoping with this to actually, you know, help some people. Like I said, the reason why this video was so late, so to speak, was because trying to think of the right thing to say and knowing it could possibly backfire, like, it's a lot. Take it case to case, but I guarantee you, the person who is suffering, they don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to feel like they're being judged or anything. They're just having a hard time and they need somebody to listen. So that was my quick little spiel on addictions, and next time I talk to y'all, it's going to be another heavy subject. We'll most likely talk about abusive relationships and stuff. If you feel like I missed anything out or what have you, feel free to, you know, leave a comment down below or message me or whatever. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.